ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। We were looking at the second Vakya in the fifth Brahmana of the first chapter. So this fifth Brahmana itself is called Saptanna Brahmana. It talks about 7 types of food or anna or bhogya padartha, we can say, that which we enjoy. Objects of enjoyment, 7 types. So this first Vakya is in the form of a sutra, you can say, Sutra Bhuta, means something is given briefly in a summarized manner, and then the Upanishad itself explains, taking each Vakya from that. So the second Vakya here, if you see, has been explaining all the whatever is said in this first. Yet saptannani medhaya tapasa janayat pita. That iti, after this iti, whatever it is saying is the commentary on this particular sentence. It is saying by one's own karma and upasana, the jiva is the one who is creating these 7 types of anna, bhogya padartha. Okay. And in fact, for that, it is calling the jiva as pita. The jiva is called pita, father, because jiva is responsible for the creation of these 7 types of anna, because the jiva is continuously doing karma and upasana. And what are these 7 types of? So again, ekamasya sadharanam. One is normal food, general food, which everybody eats. We saw that sadharanam annam yadidam adyate, like that the commentary is given. And along with each annam, the Upanishad also is giving us a value, you can say. So what does it say here? Saya etad upaste nasa papmanaha vyavartate. So the one who is indulging himself in this, eating this food and without escape from papa, because this food is supposed to be common for everybody. It is general. Vishram hi etat, it says. So the food is general for everybody. It is common for everybody. But if you do not distribute it to others and eat it yourself, then you are only gaining papa. And further, the other 2, next 2 annas, devam abhajayat, devan abhajayat. So to the devas we divide and give the other 2 annas, and the Upanishad says that the darsha and purnamasa, these are 2 rituals which everybody should do. At least all brahmanas are expected to do in those days. Nowadays, very few Vedikas are doing all this karma. Okay, darsha purnamasa during Amavasya, and whatever you give offerings to the devas during this darsha and purnamasa rituals are given like dana to the devatas. That means you are not even expecting anything in return for that. You are giving it as a dana to the devatas, and you are supposed to do it like that. And Upanishad itself says, na ishta yajukaha syat, don't do this with the expectation of some kind of a result. Then it will not be a dana. If you donate something, you are giving it to somebody. Of course, you have to give it. You have to see that whatever you are donating, the one who is getting that donation is a genuine person. All that you have to check. Nothing wrong in that. But once you donate, you cannot expect anything in return for that. Then it is no more a donation. So here Upanishad is saying, do not do this Darsha and Purnamasa expecting something in return from the Devas. You are giving it to them as a dana. Even Annadana also you are supposed to do. That's why even the regular Anna also you eat, but you have to give dana to others. You have to share it with others. Similarly, here also you are sharing it with the Devatas. Then one more Anna is for the Pashus, all the animals, and that is milk. And milk alone is eaten by all the animals as soon as they are born. That is their source of sustenance. That was also explained by the Upanishad here. And so up to this we saw last time, I think, that milk is the sustenance, or that's what all the animals drink initially without or exclusively without even eating anything else. And that's why even a calf, when the age of a calf is asked, people say that it has not started eating grass yet. That means it is only drinking milk. So, continuing here, what does the Upanishad says? It says, Tasmin sarvam pratishtitam yacha praniti yacha neti payasihi idam sarvam pratishtitam yacha praniti yacha na. So, what the Upanishad says is, all that is here, that which is living, yacha praniti means that which is living, yacha na, that which does not live also. Both the sentient and insentient things which are there in this earth, all those things are based on this milk alone. Why is it saying like that? Because with milk and milk products only, we are doing all the yajna, all the rituals. Without milk, there is no ritual. So, in fact, our entire culture is based on milk. That's why veganism may not work in India, or at least the Vaidika culture is totally based on milk. Of course, the milk has to be produced ethically and without himsa to the pashu. That has to be taken care of. But all commercial dairy today is not really taking care of that. It is all only total himsa. So in one way, veganism can be understood purely from a ahimsa standpoint. It is a valid thing. But still, Vaidika karma is completely based on milk and milk products, and karma alone is producing this entire world itself is a product of your karma phala. Because for you to exhaust your karma, only Ishvara has produced this entire world, including both sentient and insentient objects. So that's why here it is said that everything is based on this milk alone. Milk is the pratishtha. Everything is established in this milk. Whatever is living, whatever is not living, all that is here. Sarvam, it says, idam sarvam pratishtitam. So for emphasis, it is repeating that. Yacha praniti yacha na. So whatever is there here, which is living and not living, all of that is based on this pious only. Because here, you can see here also it is there. Tasmin sarvam pratishtitam yacha praniti yacha na. Up to that it is there. Then it says payasi na iti. payasi. So in the milk alone, all these things which are living and not living, they are all established in this milk itself. So tad edidam ahuhu samvatsaram payasa juhvad apa punar mrityum jayati iti na tatha. Okay, now Upanishad is going in a tangent, you can say a little bit, but it is now talking about actually doing karma using this milk and milk products. And in fact, it is actually trying to clarify a point here. What is the point? See, people do say that if you do Agnihotradi karma for 1 year using milk, okay, Samvatsaram means 1 year. Payasa Juhvat, with this milk and milk products, you do Juhvat means you are doing Juhoti, Juhvat, all these things mean you are doing karma, okay, Agni karma. So that which is said means what? That if you do for 1 year this Agnihotram karma with milk and milk products, then you will win over death. Punar mrityum jayati. You will win over death here means what? You will go to Swargaloka. Okay, that's the meaning here. Not like moksha or in that way it is talked about. But you will get utkrishta phala. You get exalted status by doing karma for 1 year. In fact, Upanishad says, it is being said like that, but it's not really even one year. Okay, so it says, Yat ahareva juhoti, tad ahaha punar mrityum apajayati, evam vidvan sarvam hi devebhyaha annadyam prayachati. So here, what it is saying is, actually, this truth you have understood, correct? That everything is established in milk. Everything is based on milk. Visualizing that you are supposed to do this karma. Okay, while you are offering milk and milk products into the Agni and doing this karma, you have to also do this visualization, this upasana, that everything is based on milk. Like that, if you want to do, or if you do 1 year only, you will get, some people are saying that you will go to Swarga, you will win over death. But Upanishad says that itself is not really true. Even 1 day, yad ahareva, on which day you do like that, okay, yad ahareva juhoti, tat ahaha, that day itself, punar mrityum upajayati, so you will win over this death. Means the phala for that is you will go to Swargaloka and enjoy with devas. So upajayati evam vidwan, in this manner the vidwan here means the one who does the upasana here, and one who knows that everything is based on milk, and one who is visualizing that while doing this karma. Sarvam hi devebhyaha annadyam prayachati. So he will be among the devas and he will become annadya. Annam means food. Annadya means the one who is enjoying the food. Okay, so now he becomes the enjoyer of this food along with all the devatas. That is an exalted state. What this person who does this upasana and this karma, even once if he does that, it is good enough. That's what the Upanishad says. Okay, now continuing. Kasmat tani nakshiyante adyamanani sarvada iti. So now there is a question which is being asked. Okay, this is the question. What? Kasmat tani nakshiyante adyamanani sarvada. See, this food, these 7 types of food are created by the jiva only, by the jiva's own karma and upasana, but they are not exhausted. Nakshiyante. So they are not getting exhausted. even though they are continuously being eaten, adhyamanani sarvada, all the time it is being consumed, eaten, still why these saptannas, these 7 types of food, they never get exhausted, they are always there. So for that, the Upanishad is now giving the reason. Iti purushaha va akshitihi sahi idam annam punah punaha janayate. So why it is not getting exhausted beings? This jiva, this purusha only is akshitihi. Now there is a new name for this jiva, this purusha. Purusha is the one who makes, who keeps on doing his karma and upasana continuously, because you are karta bhokta, correct? All the time you are karta bhokta. As long as you are karta bhokta, you are constantly creating your own karma, which comes to an end. So jiva only is the cause for whatever you face in this life. You are the cause for that. That's what Upanishad is saying finally. You have to take responsibility for whatever you are facing, because it is your karma alone which is unfolding, which is getting exhausted, and you have been the cause for that, and you are being the cause for your future karma also by doing whatever you are doing now. So it is a never ending cycle, keeps on going. Okay, it never stops, because while exhausting your past karma, in the process you are also doing karma and creating new karma. Therefore that karma has to now be exhausted. Like that it keeps on going, like some kind of a self-perpetuating machine. Okay, so this is against second law of thermodynamics for engineering people. So you are producing your own energy, karma, even while using up that energy. So it is a self-perpetuating or self-perpetuating machine. Okay, keeps on going. So purushaha va akshitihi sahi idam annam punah punaha janayate. So this purusha, this jiva alone, keeps on producing again and again this, all these 7 annas. That's why the jiva is now called akshitihi, the one who is the one who keeps on producing it, makes this whole, all this anna inexhaustible. So he is the one who keeps this whole thing going. That's why the purusha jiva is called akshiti. Then further, yova etam akshitim veda saha annamatti pratikena. Now that is being commented here. Yova etam akshitim veda iti. So akshitim veda, up to this means what? Purushaha va akshitihi sahi idam annam dhiya dhiya janayate karma bihi yad ha etat na kuryat ha saha annam atti. Okay, kshiyate ha, up to this we'll see, because saha annam atti is this annam atti pratikena. Now what Upanishad says very interesting. So the one who knows, okay, that the Purusha is the Akshiti, Purusha is the one who is creating this inexhaustible store of Anna to be consumed again and again. Okay, and so again, how does he do that? Diya dhiya, by his own thinking and mind only. Okay, and that too at appropriate time, and based on your own karma. Okay, whatever you do, karma bihi, doing karma at the right times. This Purusha only who is Akshiti, is creating all this Annam. That's what you have to understand. And if the Purusha, now Upanishad is giving something interesting. It says, Yadha etat na kuryat, if the Jiva does not do this karma and upasana, kshiyate ha, it will get exhausted. So you have to stop being karta bhokta. That's all. It's very easy to say, but instinctively we are all doing something we cannot avoid doing. But doing itself is not a problem. Understand that. The thought that I am the doer is the problem. We are all doing things, we are all enjoying things, thinking that I am the doer and I am doing it to enjoy something. I am the enjoyer. But in reality, Atma, self, is neither a doer nor an enjoyer. That reality is not known. That's why these people are all avidwan, they are all ignorant only. So ignorant, being ignorant of one's own nature and taking oneself wrongly as a karta bhokta, you keep on going endlessly, thinking that you are a karta, you do karma. Again, in the process, you are exhausting your karma. You are also creating new karma, and it keeps on going. But if you stop that, then what? It will exhaust. It will go away. In fact, the moment you know your true reality, that you are not a karta bhokta, then there is no karma. In fact, if you are not even a karta, where is the question of any karma? If you are not karma, if you are not subjected to any karma in reality, sanchita karma, agami karma, and all we talk about, correct? Sanchita karma means all the accumulated karma. Prarabdha karma means whatever karma has started this life, and agami karma means whatever karma is going to come in future. None of this karma is there because you are not even a karta. You are not a karta, you are not a bhokta. So that is your reality. That being so, it will go away, it will exhaust. If you do not accumulate any more karma, tanna kuryat kshiyate ha. So it will exhaust if you don't do. That also Upanishad is saying. That means what? Now the Upanishad is actually trying to give you this vairagya towards karma phala, because as long as you are expecting some karma phala and doing karma, this cycle is never going to come. This cycle is never going to come to an end. Okay. So you have to understand that what you really want is not any karma phala. Therefore, your whole pursuit is no different. It is not something which can be attained through karma. Then naturally you will have nivritti. You won't have any pravritti. You will not be engaging in karma and upasana for the sake of karma phala, because you have understood that what you really want is not any result of action, any karma phala. That is not going to give you total satisfaction. Therefore, you are seeking something else. So you have to get that vairagya. For that only the Upanishad is even telling this. Kshiyate. So it is pointing to you how this vicious cycle can end. Okay. Further what? Saha annamatti pratikena. So that's what. Saha annamatti pratikena iti. Now that is being explained here. Pratikena means what? Mukham pratikam. Mukham means Bhashyakara says mukhyam. Mukhyam. So mukhyena iti etat. So the one who understands this, or one who does upasana, that the jiva is the Akshiti, the one who is producing all this Annam, means then he identifies everything with one's own Atma. All this Saptanna, by doing Upasana, this Upasaka is now identifying himself with all the Annas as the Pita of all that, as the cause of all the Annas. Then that person enjoys all this Anna Mukhyena with a certain, you can say, Mukhya means important. Generally, we translate Mukhya as important. Here, glory, with some glory, you can say. Okay. Mukhyena Atti. In fact, how he has that also, it is now saying what? Sa Devan Apigachati, Sa Urjam Upajivati iti shlokaha. Now that also. Sa Devan Apigachati iti prashamsa. Upanishad itself says this part is prashamsa. It is only a praise that this person will be among the devas and he will live amongst the devas and enjoy. The one who does this upasana, that the jiva is the akshiti and identifies himself with all the saptanna as the cause of that, that person will gain again an exalted state amongst the devatas. And that is a praise, because that is the praise for you to do this upasana. Because any upasana, you are doing only for a particular phala. So here that phala is shown and it is praised, that you will be enjoying gloriously with the devatas. That means you are not an anna anymore, you are only an annadya. You are only the enjoyer of food. You are not producing any food, at least amongst the devatas. That is the praise for this upasana. So this is the second vakya here. Let us see how much bhashya we can see quickly. Yat saptannani yat ajanayat iti kriya visheshanam. So yad ajanayat. So you have to connect like that. Yad ajanayat. Rest of the things are all kriya visheshanas. They are all adverbs. Kriya visheshanam means in Sanskritam grammar, adverbs are called kriya visheshanam. They are all qualifying the kriya or the verb. So yad ajanayat is the vakya. All the other things like medhaya, prajnaya, vijnanena, tapasa, cha karmana. So medhaya, tapasa is there. These two are adverbs for ajanayat. And medhaya means really prajnaya, vijnanena. Like this Bhashyakara is giving meaning. Means medhaya means here upasana. Medha is upasana. And tapas is karma. In this context, Medha and Tapas are Upasana and Karma. That's what Bhashyakara is giving the meaning. Jnana Karmani eva hi Medha Tapas Shabda Vachye, he says. So this Medha and Tapas Shabda's meaning are in this context are what? Jnana and Karma. It is Karmani means this is again dual case in Sanskritam. Okay. Because Sanskritam is one of the language, I don't know whether any other language has a dual case. Normally, all other languages have singular and plural, correct? Even Tamil has singular, plural. I don't know about other Indian languages also, mostly have only singular and plural. But Sanskritam is a unique language. It has a dual case. Okay. So here, Jnana Karmani is actually, it's neither singular nor plural. It is dual. So this Medha and Tapas Shabda Vachya means the meaning, direct meaning of Medha and Tapas here is Jnana and Karma. Tayoho Prakritatvat. So he says that is what is under discussion here. So we have to take that meaning. Okay. Na itare Medha Tapasi Aprakarana. Okay, you cannot take normal meaning of Medha and Tapas because that will not fit in with the context here. Okay, so and he says, Panktam hi karma jayadi sadhanam evam veda iticha anantaram eva jnanam prakritam. So he is now trying to show how karma and upasana are the one which is under discussion or in the context of the current discussion. So Panktam was talked about in the last Vakya of the previous Brahmana. The karma, how it is based on 5 factors, and those 5 factors are starting with wife, Jaya Adi Sadhanam. Okay, so with wife, putra, etc., and different types of wealth, one can do karma. These 5 factors are involved in doing karma. And then at the end of that, only again, Evam Veda, like that, Upasana also was given. Therefore, what Jnanam also is Prakritam. Here, Jnanam again means Upasana, not the Atma Jnanam. Understand? The word Vidya, Jnanam and all, based on context, we have to understand. So, he is now showing that to give this meaning for Medha and Tapas as Karma and Jnana and Karma, Bhashyakara is showing that Karma and Jnanam alone are under discussion currently. So, Tasman na prasiddhayoho Medha tapasoho ashanka karya. So, you should not raise a doubt that why are we not taking the more popular meanings for Medha and tapas. Okay. So, Medha means in general the ability to hold things in your head and analyze. Okay. In fact, Medha Dakshinamurti is the form of the Lord we all worshipped in our Gurukulam also, because our Guruji, he built Medha Dakshinamurti temples, both in the Coimbatore Gurukulam where we studied in Anekatti, and even in US in Sailorsburg there is a Medha Dakshinamurti temple. So Swamiji chose the Medha Dakshinamurti because Medha is very important for Jnanam. See, Medha is not just memory. Understand that. Having a lot of memory is one thing, but to connect all the things in your mind and then see the implications of that is a different thing. Correct? Like even a chess player is able to visualize so many moves, both his own moves and his opponent's moves, and then see. Correct? That is a certain ability that can be said as Medha, in fact. So that is Medha. That is the popular meaning of Medha. Okay. But in Upasana also, you are visualizing everything with your mind only. So Medha can be taken as Upasana here. And Tapas means mostly, Tapas is all these austerities we say is Tapas. But here in general, Karma is Tapas. So you should not create any doubt that why we are not taking the regular or more popular meanings of that. Because under discussion, Karma and Upasana are under discussion. And we have to take that meaning. Okay, Ataha Yani Saptannani Jnana Karma Bhyam Janitavan Pita. So therefore what? Yani. So these 7 annas through Jnana and Karma. Okay, Jnana Karma Bhyam, by doing Upasana and Karma, Janitavan, the one who has created all these 7 annas. Therefore, what? Pita, this father has created all these things. Tani prakashayishyamaha iti vakya sheshaha. So Bhashyakara is what Bhashyakara is giving is, in fact, this sentence ends with only one clause. Okay. This initial sentence, if you see it, Saptannani Medaya Tapasad Janayat Pita. Then what? These 7 annas, because and they were created by this Pita through his karma and jnanam, means it is hanging, correct, that sentence. So Bhashyakara is completing it. In the Bhashya, he says we have to complete saying Tani Prakashayishyamaha. These things now we will describe, we will elucidate, we will reveal it to you. What are those? Like that, we have to add, he is saying, Iti Vakya Sheshaha, because it is starting with Yat. Okay, that these 7 annas being produced by Upasana and Karma, by Pita, by the father, by the individual, by the Jiva means, then it stops there, correct? So we have to complete with Tani Prakashayishyamaha. Now I will explain those 7, like that we have to conclude it, he is saying. So Tatra Mantranam arthaha tirohitatvat prayena durvijñeyaha bhavati iti tad arthavyakyanaya brahmanam pravartate. So now, so up to this only Bhashyakara also is talking, correct? Yet saptanani medaya tapasa janayat pita. Then the Brahmana means Upanishad is part of Shatapatha Brahmana here. So again, the Veda itself is broadly categorized into two sections, Samhita and Brahmana. Understand that. Here Brahmana is not Brahmana Jati. It is a section of Veda. So Samhita portion means it is all mantra varna. Mantra varna means what? It is all mantras. Mantras means they are all in some chandas. Okay, so they have a certain chandas, Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Briti, Pankti, like that. So many chandas are there. So all the Samhita portions, they have to go through those rules. Okay, the meters have to be proper. Gayatri means in each pada 8 syllables are allowed, and even in that, which one should be a short syllable, which has to be a longer one, and all there are rules are there for different chandas. Anushtup means 32 total, 8, 8, 8, 8, like that. So the Samhita portion has meter, chandas. Brahmana is prose, and Samhita portion is mainly all these different mantras which you are supposed to use during all this karma. And how to use this mantra, for what purpose, in which ritual, etc. and all, only in the Brahmanas it is given. Okay. So normally the Samhita portion can be explained in the Brahmana. How to use the Samhita mantras is said in the Brahmana portion of the Veda. So here anyway, Bhashyakara, that's what he says. Mantranam artaha tirohitatva. The meaning of these mantras, because whatever was said before, it is all brief, correct? It is not very clear. It is all hidden. Tirohitatvat. Prayena durvijñeyaha. Means generally it is not easy to understand. Okay, it is all hidden meaning is there. So it is not easy to understand that. So durvijñeyaha bhavati iti tad artha vyakyanaya. So to explain the meaning of all this, whatever was briefly said here, all these mantra varnas, Brahmanam pravartate, this Brahmana portion is starting. Okay. So tatra yet saptannani medhaya tapasa janayit pita ityasya kaha arthaha. So what is the meaning of this yet saptannani medhaya tapasa janayit pita uchyate iti? So that is being said here. Thus what? He shabdena eva vyachaste prasiddhartha avadyotakena. So now he is there here, correct? This he shabda means normally he shabda is used to indicate that it is prasiddha. Something is very popularly known. So prasiddhartha avadyotakena means, avadyotakam means you are revealing, you are telling. So what is being indicated by this he shabda is that something which is very prasiddha, medaya hi, like that it is there. So the idea here is what? The meaning of this is prasiddha, yet saptannani medaya tapasa janayat pita, whatever is said in this is something which is known already. It is prasiddhartha. Okay. Prasiddha hi asya mantrasya arthaha ityarthaha. So from that he shabda, what we understand is the meaning of this is very well known already. Okay. Why? Because yet ajanayat iti cha अनुवाद स्वरूपेण मंत्रेण प्रसिद्धार्थता eva prakashita. So again it is repeated here, correct? Because it doesn't really give any meaning. It first gives this quotation kind of, then iti, then the only thing it is adding here is he, it is adding. Medaya tapasa janayat pita hi. That's all is the explanation given by the Brahmana for this mantra. So Bhashyakara is saying that he Shabda is showing that the meaning of that is very well known already. That's what is being revealed by that he Shabda. And also repeating the same thing also means the same thing only, that it is all known already. Therefore, it's not giving any special meaning. Okay. So Ataha Brahmanam Avishankaya eva aha medaya hi tapasa janayat pita iti. So without any doubt, it is just saying this Brahmana because it is very well known the meaning of this. Like that Bhashyakara says. Then one person is questioning that. How is it very well known? He is asking. Okay, so Bhashyakara, to explain how it is well known, he is introducing a question. So here one questioner comes. He says, Nanu, he is raising his hand, maybe some student. Nanu, what is he saying? Katham prasiddhata asya arthasya iti. So how do you say it is all well known? We have not seen anything in the Brihadaranyaka itself. So no, Bhashyakara says Uchyate. So let me tell you how it is very well known already. Jayadi karmantanam loka phala sadhananam pitritvam tavat pratyakshameva abhihitancha jayate syat ityadina. So this jayate syat, that was again there in the previous Brahmana. Okay. Jaya me syat and all is there, correct? Let there be wife for me. So Bhashyakara is trying to explain from the context which is already there. So starting from wife till the karma, the panktam karma and all we talked about, until the end of this karma, the lokas, you can gain different lokas. That's what we saw there. To gain lokas, you do karma. Okay, so in this 1.4.17, how the jiva himself is the loka, is the one who is enjoyed by others. That is said here, because the jiva is the one who is doing all this karma and upasana, and while doing that, jiva becomes an object of enjoyment for others. Jiva becomes the loka for others. So that was said here. So loka phala sadhananam, okay, pitritvam tavat pratyakshameva. So the jiva is the pita because he is the one who is doing all this karma and upasana. So therefore, jiva can be called the pita here. That is very clear. So that was said, abhihitancha jayate syat ityadina. Tatra cha devam vittam, daivam vittam, sorry. Vidya, karma, putrascha, phalabhutanam, lokanam sadhanam, srashtritvam prati iti abhihitam. So in the previous Brahmana, what was talked about? There was talk again, wife was talked about, putra was talked about, then daivam vittam was talked about, correct? The wealth, divine wealth, you can say. Then regular wealth also is there. So this daivam vittam, divine wealth, vidya means upasana, karma, putra. Now all these things are all phalabhutana. They are all something which you gain, okay, results. And lokanam sadhanam, srashtritvam prati iti abhihitam. So also they become means to gain different lokas. And all this is created by whom it was said. It was said there. Only the jiva is the one who is creating all these things, correct? Because he is the one who desires for a wife, a putra, different types of wealth, and using that the jiva is doing all the upasana and karma. Therefore, what? Vakshyamanan cha prasiddhameva. So tasmat yuktam vaktum medhaya ityadina. So whatever is said here, that was already said, and whatever is to be said in the next Brahmana, this particular thing is prasiddha. Therefore, because it is a continuation of that only, therefore the meaning of that is prasiddha. Therefore, it is tenable, it is proper to say that it is prasiddha, that medha ityadi, they are all very well known. The meaning of that is already known. We can say that. Further, what yeshana hi palavishaya prasiddha eva cha loke. So desires, are they towards whatever? The desires only, you are desiring for different results, correct? And so the desires are the one which are impelling you towards gaining different phalas, and because of that only you are becoming a loka also to others, and you also want to go to different lokas, you want to gain. Okay, so yeshana here, yeshana trayam and all we talked about already, so that is also very well known. And yeshana cha jayadi iti uttam. And what are those desires again? First, your desires are for the means, and through the means you are desiring for ends, correct? Therefore jayadi iti yuktam. So you have two types of yeshana which was talked about before. One is the desire for means, and really in fact you are desiring only for the ends, but directly you cannot get the end, correct? To get the ends, to get the results, first you require the means for attaining those ends. So you desire for both. And that was said already, etavan vai kamaha iti anena jayadi iti uktam. So the desires are for wife, etc. Etan vai kamaha also was said here. This is all here. Okay. Somewhere here it must be there. In this only it is there. Etavan vai kamaha. See here it is there. Etavan vai kamaha. That's what Bhashyakara is quoting here. So this was already said. Iti anena, by that it was explained. Therefore, what Brahma Vidya Vishayecha Sarva Ekatvat Kama Anupapatte. Again, Bhashyakara is giving a note on the side saying that with reference to Brahma Vidya, this Kama is not tenable or proper. If you are going to discuss, see, two topics are under discussion here. Understand that. In 1.4, Brahma Vidya was discussed. And then, so about the Vidwan, Jnani discussion was there. Then Avidwan also was discussed. The one who thinks that I am different, the Devatas are different, and then the person is propitiating the Devatas for gaining something. That also is the subject matter. Now, if the subject matter is Brahma Vidya, then in Brahma Vidya there is no kama, there cannot be any desire. The desirer itself is not there in Brahma Vidya, right? Everything is only one. So there is no difference between the desirer and the desired. Sarva ekatva, kama is not even possible. Kama anupapattehe. Therefore, here the thing under discussion can only be karma and upasana, not Brahma Vidya. So that also Bhashyakara makes it clear here. So etena ashastriya prajna tapobhyam swabhavikabhyam jagat srishtitvam uktameva bhavati. So what Bhashyakara says is, from this what we understand is, again, karma and karma particularly need not be what is said in the Veda. If you just go by your own natural tendencies, okay, swabhavikabhyam means what? Swabhavika is what naturally what we do is, all our indriyas are going after indriya vishaya, all our sense organs are going after sense objects. So if you just allow that to happen, you are just only reveling in sense pleasures, and also if you go after sense pleasures, you will also have dukkha. There is no doubt about that. Sense pleasures are also there, problems, pain, it's in that. Okay, swabhavikabhyam jagat srashtritvam uttameva bhavati. So ashastriya prajna tapobhyam. So if you do not go by what the Shastra says, and if you have your attitude and whatever action you are doing is just based on your natural tendencies, what you will get? Okay, that has been already said. What is said? That Bhashyakara is saying, Stavarantasya cha anishta phalasya karma vijnana nimittatva. So, what is the phalam for that? Which was already said, that you will get lives like plant and animal life only you will get, which is not very desirable, because plants and animals are not having any evolved self-consciousness, and mostly, in fact, you are exhausting your papa by taking such lives. So you may get a life as a plant or something higher than that, animals and all that, and that is not very desirable. So if you live your life according to your natural tendencies, means you are only driven by your likes and dislikes, you are going for sense objects, and in the process again what will happen? You do not even want to live by dharma. So you are ready to do adharma to fulfill your likes and dislikes, means then you are only gaining papa, and in the process that whatever papa you have collected will only result in you getting janma as a plant or an animal and all that. Okay, so that is what is going to happen if you do things according to your own natural tendency. Then the other thing is what? Vivakshitaha tu shastriyaha eva sadhya sadhana bhavaha brahma vidya viditsaya tad vairagyasya vivakshitattvat sarvaha hi ayam vyakta avyakta lakshanaha samsaraha ashuddhaha anityaha sadhana sadhya sadhana rupaha dukkhaha avidya vishayaha etasmat viraktasya brahma vidya arabdhavya iti. Okay, so now what Bhashyakara is trying to explain is why even all this karma and upasana and their phala and all is discussed. Because the main subject matter of the Upanishad is Brahma Vidya. The word Upanishad itself means Brahma Vidya. Okay. So then, why even all these things are discussed here? That's what he is trying to explain here. So one first thing he says is karma and upasana, if it is not according to the Shastra, if you just do things according to your own likes and dislikes and natural tendencies, that is only going to lead you to papa, and you will be getting all this janma like plants and animals. That is not even desirable, but that is well known. The other thing, karma and upasana are not that. Here what is being talked about is shastriya karma and upasana. Now once we say shastriya, that which is being mandated by the Veda, by the Shastra, if Veda is mandating it, then obviously Vedika, what will we say? Why should I not do this? In fact, I have to do karma only, and I have to do upasana only, because Veda itself is mandating that it is shastriya. But even that, because the Shastra Vihita karma, whatever is mandated by the Veda, the karma and upasana also are only sadhanas. They are all means for gaining some ends. And these means and ends also assume that you are a karta bhokta, you are a avidvan, you are an ignorant person. And they are all again only going to give you limited results. And it is not going to give you total satisfaction. And to show that only these things are discussed. That is the point Bhashyakara is trying to give here. So he says, when Brahma Vidya is going to be talked about, even the second chapter, Brahma Vidya is going to be discussed. Now, to prepare the student for Brahma Vidya, okay, first you should have Vairagya towards all this karma phala, not just Ashastriya karma phala. There, getting Vairagya is easy because it is Anishta. If I say that if you do Ashastriya karma, nowadays even that is very difficult, but in Bhashyakara's vision, at least he thinks that this Swabhavika karma, whatever one does, that is only going to give you Anishta, undesirable results. So there one can have Vairagya. But what about the karma which has been mandated by the Veda? Towards that also one has to get Vairagya. That is why it is being discussed here. Whatever has been mandated by the Veda, the karma and upasana, towards that also, the one who is going for Brahma Vidya has to have Vairagya. So that is the Vivaksha here. Vivaksha means that is the one which, that is the intention actually to talk about this topic, this particular topic. So that Bhashyakara is again summarizing. He says, Sarvaha hi ayam vyakta avyakta lakshanaha. So whatever is there here, whether it is manifest or unmanifest, okay, characterized as manifested or unmanifest, this samsara, this life of becoming, which is ashuddha, which is not pure, anityaha, which is again impermanent, sadhya sadhana rupaha, which is in the form of means and ends. You have different means to gain different ends, but all these ends are all limited, impermanent. Okay, so they are not going to give you total satisfaction. They will still keep you as a limited being only. Whatever you may attain, it's not limitless, it is all limited. Therefore, what? Dukkha. So they'll all lead you only to sorrow, because by gaining limited things, those things will come to an end. And then again you will have dukkha. So avidya vishayaha, they are all only in the realm of avidya, ignorance. Iti etasmad viraktasya. So in this manner, the one who has understood and one who has dispassion towards karma phala, for that person, this Upanishad has to start this Brahma Vidya, correct? Keeping that in mind only, all these things, this karma and upasana phala is discussed only to show its limitation. That is the point Bhashyakara is making here. So, tatra annanam vibhagena viniyogaha uchyate. So now what here? By dividing all these different annas into 7 things, correct? What is the purpose of that? That is being now explained here. So, ekamasya sadharanam and all is starting, correct? So, jayadi karmantanam lokapala sadhananam pitrit. Okay, that we solved. Sorry, here. Tatra annanam vibhagena viniyogaha uchyate ekamasya sadharanam iti mantra padam. So, first it is taking ekamasya sadharanam. That was said in the first vakya. That mantra is taken. Tasya vyakyanam. Its explanation is given here. What is that? Idameva asya tat sadharanam annam iti uktam bhoktru samudayasya kim tat yadidam adyate bhujyate sarvaihi pranibihi ahani ahani. So that which is eaten by all the beings daily, day by day. Okay. So whatever is general, sadharanam, common. So the first one is sadharanam, means what? Commonly eaten by everybody every day. Tat sadharanam. Okay, that is the one which is common, general. Sarva bhoktra, okay, sarva bhoktra artham akalpayita srashta annam. Okay, so for all the enjoyers, so this anna is being created by this pita srashtuva annam. So this sadharanam means common, means it is being enjoyed by everybody. Okay, it is being akalpayat pita. So the father has created this sadharanam annam for everybody. Sa etat sadharanam sarva pranabhrit stitikaram. Bhujyamanam annam upaste tat paraha bhavati ityarthaha. So next is talking about that the one who is only interested in eating. So tat paraha bhavati means what? So there is a person who is only interested in eating food, means not interested in giving it to anybody else. So upaste, bhujyamanam annam upaste is there. So whatever is normally eaten by everybody, that anna, some person is doing upaste means what? He is saying tatparaha bhavati, the one who is only interested in that. Upasanam hi nama tatparyam. So Bhashyakara is saying upasanam really means tatparyam, thinking about something, primarily thinking about something. Drishtam loke. So even in the loka, Gurum upaste, Rajanam upaste ityadu. So the one who is totally devoted to Guru or Raja, like that it is said, correct? So here this person is devoted only to food. So tasmat sharira sthityartha anna upabhoga pradana adhishtartha karma pradana ityarthaha. So sharira upasthiti artha anna bhoga pradana means what? One who is only interested in keeping up his own sharira, okay, his own body. To maintain one's own body, you are only interested in eating food, and you are not interested in adrishtartha karma pradana. You are not interested in using that food for gaining any adrishta punya. Means such a person will only gain papa. He is only interested in eating himself, not giving it to others, sharing it, or even giving it to devatas for gaining any other adrishta or punya. So that person cannot escape from papa. Papmanaha means adharma. Bhashyakara says it is adharma. Vyavartate na vimuchyate, cannot escape from this papa. One who is eating only to maintain his own body and not gaining any other punya, that person cannot escape from adharma or papa. Then it continues. We'll see this next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी.